Mick, first outing of Championship 2022 and quite a successful one. You've got to be overall, I think, very pleased with the way it worked out from your team's perspective.
Yeah, decent enough. Obviously the conditions I thought were tough enough. They put up a reasonably good score. We left probably a little bit of sloppy play between conceding a couple of goals and some good chances, but we're delighted to get some players back there like Carla and Sinead. Getting game time is really important. But overall, very good, yeah.
And all 6 of your starting forwards score from play as well, which is pleasing for you.
Oh, you're telling me news there, Declan, now, so I'll make note of that. But yeah, look, there was decent stuff. I thought some of the defending was really good. We're getting girls now beginning to block, which takes a little bit of time. I thought some of their foot passing at stages were good. We were probably very narrow in the opening 15 minutes where we went up the central passage, and then we just became a little bit more expansive and it opened up for them. So, good afternoon's work.
Yeah, I'm pleased with the contribution of your bench as well. Nicole Owens coming off to score 2 goals, and Niamh Petterton chipping in with a fine point as well.
Yeah, when we have everybody, we're very competitive, as we found out during the National League. When you're missing a few, all of a sudden you're going back to girls who are learning a little bit still, and obviously that's a good thing in one way, but at this time of year you're trying to roll out the big ones.
And off to a flying start now, and a trip to Tipperary to look forward to next week.
Absolutely, yeah. There's the beauty of having a squad, because if you don't, you can overload players. So, we certainly be looking to use the squad over the next 3 weeks and see where that brings us.
With 15 players until the last minute or so of the game, then you had 2 sin binnings. Lauren McGee went first, and then you had the second one.
Niamh
Petterton
went first. Yeah.
Silly enough stuff, but it wasn't disappointing.
Yeah, I'll have to look at Hedges back. In fairness, I thought she stood her ground, and just sometimes I think that happens a little bit in the women's game. Sometimes when a stronger girl gets kind of pulled for someone who may not be as strong. Lauren's I actually thought was really good. I thought I would have been particularly happy with the way she was tracking, and because of the area of the pitch was in, a girl falls over. I think that sometimes happens. I'm not saying the referee was wrong, I'm just saying that just we said immediately on the sideline that's going to be a yellow, even though we didn't feel that it was warranted, but that's what happens.
Yeah, we've been speaking about the tackle over the last while, and there's some great examples of exactly how to do it. 3 in particular, remember, in the second half from Goldie.
Unbelievable, and Kate Sullivan had a great steal from what I remember as well, chasing that blind tackle from behind. But Goldie's ability to steal the ball, we saw it in the Leinster final in Croke Park on the biggest stage. She's a terrier when it comes to that stuff, and that's the bit whereby I don't think you'll see a cleaner tackle, and yet times they get pulled. That's the bit I think where they need a little bit more clarity on it. And they get caught up in this bit that's not physicality, that's just stripping the ball, and it's a brilliant skill. And I think when you go out and you see that, and then at times you get pulled by because of that little bit of grey area in the women's game, that you can't make contact or the ball hasn't been released or whatever else, as opposed to just saying if there isn't contact, or if somebody isn't intently going to pull or drag or foul, well then let them off.
And look at the energy that Lindsay, Davey and Sinead Aherne showed out there today. They were really rolled back the clock with their performances today.
Well, Sinead is the one. Lindsay, obviously, we have huge respect for them all, but my own situation, as you know, started off back in 2002, and we brought Sinead Aherne in as a young 17-year-old. But for anyone in sport to have the appetite to go and do what she's doing is just remarkable. And as a coach, I certainly feel a much stronger coach with her as part of our armoury. And I'm not just talking about the player, but what she does around the edges and the education she gives to young girls. I certainly know if I had a daughter involved, I'd want her around them. Because of the messages she passes on. So to have her here again for another season is just incredible.
You're talking about the difficult conditions out there, particularly Dublin played against it in the first half. Players had to be extremely clever with the type of passing that they were executing.
Yeah, and you could see at times because of that they were trying to mind the ball, but it tightened the pitch. And then when it tightened the pitch, that leads into helping the defence rather than the offence. But look, I thought they came to terms of it really well. I thought we looked sharp enough. and obviously a few more players getting in and getting game time and putting the hand up makes it very competitive for the weeks ahead.
You were saying about having everybody, you're really, really competitive. No Jennifer Dunn today, and Martha Bourne went off at half time. Are you still carrying a couple of knocks?
Yeah, Martha had a hand injury and Jan picked up an ankle injury in the Leinster final. But again, like that, I mean, we're lucky we're in that position at the moment that we don't have to ask them to play or make them play when, could put them out for longer periods. But again, it's amazing, like someone even as seasoned as Jen Dunn talking during the week concerned about losing her position. So, that's obviously a really good position for the squad to be in.
And a good position for you as a manager as well to be in.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. And I would have said this over the years, if you don't play players, you're never going to develop them. So even during those really poor periods, during the National League, and we were struggling, we were stuttering along, but that's when development takes place, and that's why I'd be a big advocate of the National League. 3 matches is not development stages. That 7 match stretch really gives you that opportunity to develop players. And our only modus operandi to try and get to a National League final was to get extra games. It wasn't about a National League, and obviously when you're there, you're trying to be as successful you can, whatever silverware is up for grabs, but just trying to develop them. So we were lucky we got 4 games, but during that 4 games, probably because of the injuries we had, we played further down the squad, which has obviously given us a little bit of depth now.
Okay,
thanks. Well done.
Okay,
thanks for your time.
Thanks, guys.